Hello, everyone. So, I'm going to talk about the most memorable member of my family, and that was my paternal grandmother. Her name was Arifa, and who she was someone really special for me. We lived with my grandmother, my dad, mom, and I, and shared a household with her before the war in our country broke out. She was a very traditional Muslim woman who wore traditional Muslim clothing and was very dedicated to her faith. What stood her apart for me was that she was very resilient, she was very strong, and she was very devoted to her faith. She raised five children on her own because my grandfather passed early on. And she survived a brutal war in our country that took place in the 90s. Even after living through this horrific experience and surviving this horrific war, she never lost her faith. She followed Islam to the T. And even at the end of her life, she prayed 5 times a day and fasted during Ramadan. And this set an example for me because she exemplified someone who was a person of strong morals and values and someone of honor. She always honored her word. And she was a righteous person who always tried to help those in need and do the right thing. And particularly, she always had the mindset of it is not our place to judge others. And she never spoke ill of anyone. While my grandmother was a very righteous person, she also, as a grandmother, was very tough. She never let anything get passed by her. And if her kids were acting out of line, she made sure to put them back in line. Um, and at the same time, while she was very um, firm, she also was very nurturing. I remember the last time I got to see her. This was in 1998. We went back. This was the first time that we went back to my country after it was safe to go back after the Civil War. And I remember the moment I saw her for the first time, and it was snowy and cold. It was during the winter time when we went back. And she had cooked a warm winter meal for us, and it's the best feeling to have your grandmother cook a warm meal in the middle of winter. And I remember my sister and I went outside to play in the snow, and we had forgotten to wear gloves, just as small children, small kids, we forgot to wear gloves. And so our hands got really, really cold. So we went back inside and said, Grandma, our hands are cold. And so she would warm up my sister's hands. She would blow it in her hands and warm them up. And I remember sitting with her, watching her pray. And when she would be done with her prayer, she would cut up fruit for us. She would cut up apple into tiny, tiny pieces to make sure that we could eat it. Even though we were big, she still was wanting to take care of us and nurture us. Unfortunately, this would be the last time that I would get to see my grandmother. She sadly passed away 2 years after that visit in 2000. And it was a really, really sad moment in my life when she passed away because I knew in this lifetime I would not get to see her again. But what makes me feel um, good about thinking of her is I know that her presence and her spirit will always live on with me each and every day. I feel her presence. And I truly, truly hope that I make her proud and that she's able to see from wherever she's at her great great grandchildren now. I truly hope I make her proud. Thank you.